Why do riders go to Tenerife and the Spanish Canary Islands off the western coast of Africa to altitude train? Well, I'm here in Tenerife to help understand why. I spoke to some of the World Tour riders who train up at Tenerife, who have thought about training at Tenerife, to understand the benefits of altitude training and why Tenerife is so good. I'm going to take you up the famous Teide Volcano, where many of the World Tour riders base themselves for altitude training, and I'm going to show you around this volcano. Now, getting to the Canary Islands in Tenerife is pretty easy if you're a European-based rider. Many of the major airports in Europe offer flights to Tenerife, and it's just 4.5 hours. In 4.5 hours, you can be down here and in the sunshine, and that's one of the major positives for Tenerife versus other locations like living and staying in Andorra or Sierra Nevada, is because you're down here off of the west coast of Africa. You're guaranteed good weather almost year-round when you're up there training on the volcano.
The weather tends to be good pretty much all the time. You can even go in January.
There's not that many places in Europe that you can go in winter and do altitude. It's relatively easily accessible, like Teide and like the hotel on top isn't far from the airport. So that's nice, because a lot of times you have to fly somewhere, you know, and then it's super far, you know, hard to rent a car, all that kind of stuff. So I think for that, it's also really good.
Despite being on the top of a volcano, there are several different roads the riders can ride. Coming down, the roads spread out, and you have about 10 to 15 different options that take you to the north side of the island, take you to the south side of the island. You can go from sea level all the way up to 2,500 meters or so in one day.
There's also pretty endless climbing options. You know, there's only one road in and out of the hotel, and you kind of go right or left, but from there, there's lots of ways down the island, down to the coast, and then back up.
There's just like an insane amount of roads of varying difficulties. And the other thing is there's a big plateau high up. So like if you want to train high, it's really easy to do that there. So you can easily train low, like you can be down in 40 minutes or something from the top to sea level, which is crazy. And then, you know, you can also ride at altitude. So you kind of have everything. You have the weather, you have the ability to train high, you have a ton of different roads to train on, and then the ability to train low really easily and quickly. So I think it really has everything.
One of the rare sights, Mount Teide covered with snow. When the riders are here training, they have the privilege of looking over their shoulders, seeing that beautiful peak at 3,715 meters, the highest peak in all of Spain.
I've spent a lot of time there at the Parador, which is the one hotel at the top. It's frequently inhabited by World Tour cyclists. The hotel itself, it's obviously very isolated. There's nothing really close to it at all.
I might go a little stir crazy up there. So the places that I've been for altitude, the places that I've gone in the past, they just have a little bit more going on. That's not just a hotel on the top of a mountain.
There's an element of just going to kind of a secluded place where the only thing to really focus on is riding your bike.
And here we are at the Hotel Parador, a 3-star hotel setting at 2,150 meters. This was the base camp for Vincenzo Nibali, Bradley Wiggins. They trained here before they went on to win the Tour de France. And so too recently did Egan Bernal and Tadej Pogačar. They all put in the hard miles right here in the shadows of the famous Mount Teide.
Just getting used to riding at altitude and changing altitude, your carbohydrate utilization goes up at altitude. And I can feel that when I say at Tenerife, where you start at say sea level and you go up, if you don't kind of bump up that carbohydrate intake on the bike, you can start to feel a bit bonky, like towards the top.
The thing that I notice it seems to help me the most with is recovering between efforts. If I do a really hard effort after altitude, say, we do a sprint in a race, I feel like after altitude, I can recover much quicker and better from that effort. So I could do like repeated efforts with less fatigue, sort of. So, in a racing situation, that can be very helpful.